Welcome to Aural Hygiene. It's the podcast where we talk about educational films, experimental films, and the strange and the weird documentaries. This is Matt. Hello, Andrew Shearer is here.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Yeah, it's you're the Monday man. Whoa,
I
actually,
like
well,
it.
actually, you are talking on your Monday. It's my Tuesday in Japan, but
Yeah, and I'm going to talk to you again on my Thursday, I think, right?
yes, for Harold
Okay.
Etball Day. But
Yeah.
today we are looking at a 1990 blockbuster training film, which is specifically blockbuster training video Buster Sales. I guess you have a new hero, or is this your old hero?
Oh, man. I don't know Buster Sales. Me and him, we don't associate.
Well, you'd be talking to a TV if you did that, since Buster is the guy that talks to you from televisions, like some kind of horror film, kind of like Freddy would do or something.
Yeah, or some bootleg, our corporate version of Max Headroom.
Um, to put things in context, could you give us that 4 or 5 sentence description of this epic film?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a Blockbuster video training film. This was a national chain of video rental stores that thrived throughout the 80s and the 90s, but died out, of course, in the era of Netflix. This training video is for employees of the store who are entry level people, and they are being instructed by the before mentioned Buster Sales as how to get people's money, get the most money from people in this that are in the store. It's basically revolting, but it's a interesting trip back in time and an interesting thing to see because Blockbuster is a place everyone is familiar with of a certain generation, and it's interesting to kind of take that Captain Marvel time warp back in to look at the stores. So you'll get it's cool, very nostalgic to for people that came up through Blockbuster to see that.
I feel like this one's even a little farther back in time than the Captain Marvel nostalgia. We're missing all the blockbuster blue.
That's true. This is the khaki and pale era, and they are. This came out in 1990, and so Captain Marvel was around about 95, something like
Right.
96. Captain Marvel pretty much takes place around the time I worked for Blockbuster.
Yeah. We had to disclose that because the listener might not know that. How long did you end up working for Blockbuster?
2.5 years. And my first thought when I watched this training video is everyone in this video should be fired. Everyone,
For
according to the way they
suggesting
fired.
Return of the Pink Panther?
No, they should be fired for violating the rule that got me fired after having worked there. And I had been employed a month 6 times. Yeah, I'd worked there for years, almost three. Um, and they fired me for something that everyone in this video that worked there was violating. They
What's
fired
that? What's that? Are you going to
then
leave us?
nobody said hello to the customers that came in the door.
Sorry, I'm having a little. There we go. Okay. No, yeah, you
Yeah,
guys said hello.
nobody said hello to the people that came in the door. None of the customers that came in the door got greeted. Every single employee that you see on that floor, including Buster, even though they couldn't see him, supposed to hear that door bang. Hello, welcome to Blockbuster.
Buster gets a
Hi, welcome to
pass
Blockbuster.
as a video creature, just breaking the
Yeah,
fourth wall.
but that video in block I got fired in 97. Yeah, 90. Yeah, something like 97, 98, 97. I got fired in 97, and that was just about a few years after this, right? And so, yeah, I didn't say hello to one person that came through the door and
Well, I
ended
get,
up being the secret shopper, right?
yeah, there must have been the amazing, like, like hello edict, maybe in '92 or something.
I don't know, but my first thought watching this video, all you are fired. Everybody fired. You fired, she's fired, he's fired. The guy that loves Star Trek is fired. Everybody's fired.
Yeah, I guess we should talk about the customers a little bit here, because they're all just like weird tropes, like the
Yeah,
lady openly talking about how her husband's a bastard, so they need
it's
a
true.
so they need a VCR. If the VCR breaks, they have to like actually acknowledge each other's existence.
You this shows you what Blockbuster Inc. thought of its customers. All these people are portrayed as idiots. Did you
um,
notice that?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
they're all
yeah.
dumb. They haven't heard of head cleaner. They haven't they don't know anything about, can you tell me about these videos for my son? Who sends their mom to go get them videos for their party? What an idiot that is. And God, the Buster's the worst of all because he's all sexually harassing. I mean, he'd be fired too.
Yeah, I said he
He's
did seem a touch
terrible.
date rapey. I told you that what I
He's
got
bad.
about 20 years ago. I was working for a summer camp, and they sent me out to get the video for the evening thing, and I showed up with Pootie Tang. So I showed Pootie Tang to a bunch of summer camp crowd.
Pootie Tang don't need no words. He don't even need no music.
Right. So that's what happens when you do that sort of thing. So yeah, and then they're trying to hook her up with someone that seems
That
to.
was so gross. Okay, this part what you're talking about, describe for people that have not seen this yet. The guy Buster who appears on the TVs to guide the young employee, who looks a little like Christine McGlade, like a more like shrunken Christine McGlade from You Can't Do That on television. Moose, for those who are very old. He like knows her personal life. And he's all talking about like, oh, maybe you'll get a chance to ask this dude out. And I'm going like, it's none of your business, man. This is stuff they fire for you for now. And then he also makes fun of the nerd, right? It's a guy coming up to the counter that likes her that she doesn't like, and he starts talking, and Buster starts clowning him right behind him, talking about making faces, making fun. Like, you can't do this. You can't
That's
be doing.
not PC anymore.
Oh, it was awful. It was terrible. But yeah, the customers are dumb. I mean, they're really like, I don't know anything. It's like, my feet are stuck. Well, you need to walk. Put one foot in front of the other. We've got a book about it in the front of the store. Oh, okay.
And then the whole of course they have to fry it down to what the listen, think, act for the young Blockbuster employee or the older one, I suppose. And kind of, I don't know,
Yeah,
it sound like we
it
went for
was.
problem, action, solution.
I'm gonna tell you a great Blockbuster story because in this you mentioned in your notes, um, VCP, video cassette player,
Yeah, I thought that
right?
was weird.
That was their lingo. They had CSR was a customer service rep. That's who the characters are, the people that help you. And they had ones for managers, which I was made into manager, and then they had one that was for I don't know. It just went all up. They had these little
A
PVT
manager who
previously.
doesn't say hi.
Yeah, I was a manager. It didn't say hi. PVT, previously viewed tape. Yeah, I wasn't aware that every single movie in the store was for sale. I did sell movies to myself at random. I wanted like Evil Dead because you couldn't buy it in stores, so I'm like $1.
There you go. You couldn't be fired for that because every video is for sale.
Yeah, but they mentioned, one customer, the one that you're talking about, was all like, oh well, our VCR broke, and she's like, well, we rent them here. I'll tell you a funny story about rent a VCR. You know when homemade porn made its way into Blockbuster? By being returned in those VCRs that people would rent. They
Oh,
would
okay.
rent the
Tape over.
VCR, they would watch their homemade porn that they did on their video cameras at home, and they'd accidentally return the tape inside the VCR.
Oh, I thought they were dubbing over the actual movies.
That would have been great, but no. All it takes is a little piece of scotch tape. Yeah, no, they didn't do that. That would have been great. I mean, you're wanting to hit like all the Barney tapes with that. But like the yeah, they left porn in there. They have homemade porn. And when the customer comes back, you're like, I know you. I have seen what you have done.
You want to label those tapes. That's why we label our tapes. We don't just leave like a blank spine on them, you know.
I decided they were exhibitionists and they were like, let's give the Blockbuster or whoever rents this next a thrill. Thank goodness we looked in there because
Was
we
this
would have
still
fully.
was it still Athens? This is probably
No, that all happened in the God, where was I working? Uh,
I was just
Alpharetta
thinking.
area.
Yeah, I was just thinking it might be the same people when I was a bus driver in Athens, and one day we were on the I was a night bus driver, and it was on the radio. This couple was going around and getting in the back of the buses, and the first one it seemed to be just like a hand job, and then the next bus it was like more, and then like eventually they were just like banging in the back of someone's bus.
That must be where the bang bus came from. that whole thing. No, I worked 4 days at Blockbuster in Athens before being fired.
Yeah, I remembered that when I said was in that. It's like, oh yeah, you didn't do that very long.
No, it was yeah, it was bad. And you know, the guy, he brings me in like he's the freaking godfather or something. He's all, bring your keys. So, you know, I'm like in there and he's got me on the security camera. He's like, look what you're doing here. I'm like, yeah, I'm working. I was by myself opening the store. I didn't have nobody working with me. He's like, no, what are you not doing? And I don't remember this verbatim. He didn't have this good of dialogue. But it shows somebody come through and I didn't say hey to him because I was doing something else. I was doing what the people in this video doing, helping people.
Because
So
that's
I
what
didn't
you do. You
stop.
help people.
Yeah. So really this video should have been like a Tourette's. Like she would be like, do you know we rent VCRs in our hello? And then keep talking. Because that's really how they want you to be. That's
You know,
bizarre. Nobody wants that.
actually, we do have stores in Japan. Now, one thing in Japan is no one ever comes up in a store and says, "May I help you?" That doesn't happen. You have to ask for help. But
That's almost like the way society works.
yeah, but when you go in the door of many stores, like I remember, I don't think they do it anymore, probably because it was annoying. But it was like the book off, like the used books, movie CD store, and just everyone in the store when you walk in screams like like really loud, and it's like ah.
That's great.
And
I
there's
would have
few,
happily screamed that.
there's a few, yeah, they say it really loud. After that,
Yeah.
you'd have to ask for help. They won't bother you, but when you come in the door, everyone screams at you.
Nah. Hey, you know,
Welcome.
this I loved seeing this training video. You're so good at picking these things because this, I mean, I didn't watch this particular one probably because I was, you know, a few years later and this would have been like super lame. I mean, it probably was lame then because one girl walks up and goes, bogus.
Not like the awesome training film that they'll show you later.
Yeah, no, it just they're corny, you know, but this really I think um I recently watched a documentary about video stores and what happened to them and stuff. And Blockbuster was it may have been it's a documentary called The Last Blockbuster. Okay, they made a documentary of the last operating Blockbuster in the United States. I believe it's in Oregon or something like
Bend,
that.
Oregon,
Bend,
yes.
Oregon, yeah. And so in there, yeah, you get a lot of inside stuff about Blockbuster and you know, watch this training video because it shows you where their priorities were. They were rich and it was all about how could they get more money out of you. It's dirty. Like if you watched it, you'd be offended, man.
Well, that's the definition of a corporation, right? The point, it's an entity that is supposed to make money and as its sole purpose. But
I mean, we had this thing called suggested selling or whatever. You're supposed to suggest things. It'd have been funnier if suggestive selling. You know, it'd be like, here's a nipple and our latest release. It just so to me, it was no surprises in there, but it really hasn't aged well. Like it's bad. There's a lot of bad stuff. But yeah, my final take on it: everybody in the store is fired because you didn't say hello. You don't say hello, you're out the door.
design wise, not that there's a design of this movie, they just went into a blockbuster, but it's kind of like we said, it's before it really got its iconic look, but it's nowhere
Yes.
near as cool as the 80s video store. So it's kind of in a blandness hole for this video. Was it just the gray store
Yeah.
with khakis, because I do remember, some other video stores in the 80s just having like wildly funky vibes.
Yeah. In Doraville, where we grew up, there was Vacuum Video over there in Embry Hills, I think it was. There was a video store right by the A&P, which was first a Big Star, and that is where I saw the Reanimator poster for the first time. They had that thing in their window, like it's facing people. And if you've never seen the poster for this, it's Herbert West has a great head on his shoulders and another one in a pan on his desk, and it was right there where every family going into the grocery could see this thing.
Yeah, I
And
remember the West Coast video, the big
West Coast
red.
Video was, yeah, it was great because, and that was a chain, but they let my parents sign up for what they called an R card, and I never saw this at any store. Blockbuster certainly didn't have it. It was a card that the kid can give to rent rated R that says their parents have signed off on renting rated R videos. So I had an R card at West Coast. It was a jam.
I was actually probably or no, it was before watching this. There was another one, Video Tonight, which was mid 80s. I think it was gone by the late 80s. And I was trying to see if I could find like an image of something on it online. Anyway, if you type in Atlanta video tonight, TONITE, the results are not work safe, which is too bad because I was at work.
Oh man.
I mean,
I don't,
it was just text what my results, but the text was like, whoa. I'm not clicking
yeah,
on any
I'm
of
gonna
those
blame
links.
ignorance. No, it's unfortunately past its time. No, Blockbuster, I mean, I have to say they got what they deserve because they weren't concerned. They were so unconcerned with money that they were also unconcerned with progress. When DVD technology came out, they said it was just going to die like Laserdisc, and then they died.
Who went for the yeah, and then who no Circuit City's the one that went down with like DivX or whatever, the one that was like super lame.
It was
Was
this,
like the disc would like self-destruct after like 2 days or something.
yeah, you had that period of time where people were just scrambling, and when in all reality they should have stayed ahead of the information, because people that knew personal computing, people that knew emerging technologies, which was available in like magazines you could buy in the grocery store, they were aware of all of this stuff becoming a reality. And I brought it up in an employee meeting one time when one of the like big district bigwigs of Blockbuster came through. I was like, "You heard a DVD, sir?" And they're like, "Yeah, no, we're not even worried about that." Next thing you know, Taps is playing.
Never had the laser disc either.
Laserdisc is great. My player broke, and I was devastated because new ones are just through.
Yeah,
I mean,
finding a new
you
one
don't
would
even
be
want to know, because there's no such thing as a new one. I mean, they're all old. They're all missing the remote. Mine was missing the remote. But yeah, I had the dreaded E3 error for those who collect Laserdisc. It's not salvageable.
I think it was just a year or two ago when they finally stopped making the last VHS players. Again, just they'd run out of parts to actually make them. They don't fabricate all those parts anymore. So
Yeah, it's true. I have two working ones, and I try to use them sparingly, only when I'm archiving our old videos.
yes, which are labeled.
They are, and well documented as to what's on them. Thank goodness.
um, I don't know. Anything else you want to throw out on Blockbuster, or throw them under the bus before we finish up? I guess it's a good.
PVT made me think of what were you going to say?
I was just saying. Yeah, that's the thing with Blockbuster. There's equal. I think even for people that didn't work with them, there's just kind of an equal amount of like nostalgia and bile.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, they brought entertainment, affordable entertainment. They were, a place where you could get your new movies, maybe. And I remember Mallrats, who had one copy on the day it came out, to show you the way things were going at that time. So they were just as much good as bad, I think. But in the end, yeah, they made a desperate grab to seem more edgy, and it was a slap in the face to those of us who were just movie nerds who were trying to help people watch cool movies, which was all I was trying to do as a Blockbuster employee. I really wanted people, when I got my first employee of the month because a guy came in there and he wanted John Woo movies, right? Remember, Hong Kong action director, blew up around the time of the early 90s. And I was like, yeah, we got A Better Tomorrow. We got The Killer. We got Hard Boiled. And he just flipped. He's like, I wouldn't have even known where to get this stuff. And because every other employee in the store looked at me like we were speaking Mandarin, it was like, yeah, they gave me my first Employee of the Month award, my first amazing. To throw somebody out like that just shows you where Blockbuster's priorities were. To throw me out on my ass, and tell me, oh, Papa John's is hiring, is what the guy told me as I walked out the door.
Yeah,
So
the newspaper
yeah, no
seems like a
wonder
better
it's
gig.
gone. Well, I worked at a couple other video stores after that, some smaller indie chains, but yeah, Blockbuster, man, it's a trip. Watch this training video and remember that here's what they think about you. This is what they think about you.
Oh, and just the one other thing, I'm looking at my notes here. He's like, you're only batting 500. That's pretty good. I mean, I don't know that much baseball, but I believe that no one has batting averages that high. That's pretty.
I don't. That missed me. I'm like, okay, is this good or bad?
No, because like real good's like 300, I think. So 500 would be like superhuman. So she's doing a fine job.
I guess he was trying to say you're giving 110%.
Yeah. No, he was accusing her of not working hard enough. We're
Oh,
not
was
doing
it?
it right.
Okay.
But using that metaphor was stupid because in the context of that metaphor, it's like phenomenal.
Yeah, no. If you had Buster as your boss,
You'd want to
his
punch him
ass
in
would
the
be in.
dick.
Yeah, he'd be on HR's hit list, man.
So how about for your today movies? You can't go to a Blockbuster for Gonzoriffic.
No, but the time that our movies would have been able to get into a Blockbuster would have been around the time where all cult films, Troma was in Blockbuster, Herschel Gordon Lewis was in Blockbuster. I mean, there was a time when they would take stuff, and even when I worked there, we had stuff like some of the we had Addicted to Murder was in there, some Polonia Brothers was in there. But yeah, my stuff is at gonzoriffic.com. Buy some DVD and some Blu-ray from me, G.
Streaming. Yeah, sorry, I was like thinking if I was saying that right, and then I was thinking of like the DVD shot from Orgasmo.
Yeah, no, we got right now Ariola Jones and the Home Video Vixen. Speaking of home video, we got it has my splice kit from that I got when I worked at Blockbuster that I stole when I got fired. My splice kit is in the movie.
There we go.
So we got the last lap.
Not the Bend, Oregon one. Wait,
Nah.
that's still that you do have to appreciate that one. I mean, the
I think
corporate entity is loathsome, but the last Blockbuster is awesome.
The last Blockbuster, probably the last Blockbuster because it was ran by decent people.
Yeah,
And it's not owned by the corporation. That's why it's still around, because all those poor decisions are not being made anymore. They're being made by like human beings.
If you want to make a poor decision, follow this podcast deeper. You'll do that at Aural Hygiene Pod at Twitter or Facebook. I guess I'll talk about music today. I make music that's at rovingsagemedia.bandcamp.com. There's lots of things there. Maybe there's something you would like.
Yeah, I was wondering why you never plugged that before when we did
I always
these.
plug on the main one, but the Sci-Fi one. But yeah, I thought I'd throw that one out here. Also, because I use all the songs that are here are basically from your films, The Erotic Couch or Cannibal Sisters. No, you changed the name. You changed. Is it still The Erotic Couch? Did that one have a new name?
No. The Dr. Humpenstein's Erotic Castle became the Castle of Dr. Humpenstein.
Oh, okay. Oh no, I'm thinking of Dollface became Hello Dolly or something.
Yeah, Dollface became Goodbye Dolly.
Goodbye
yes.
Dolly. Excuse me. I was
my friend Tommy made a movie called Dollface. He came out of retirement and made a movie called Dollface. So I wasn't about to argue that with him. Just I'll Goodbye Dolly's cool. Independent movies often change titles and artwork anyway, make people think they hadn't seen it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's one of our tricks.
Thanks for chatting today, Andrew. And you're fired from talking about this Blockbuster training video now.
I'll go work at Papa John's, man. I'll be there in 30 minutes or less.